Morning. Are you coming in then?
Good morning, and what a show we got lined up for you today. We got presenter and journalist Kaye Adams will be here. Looking forward to that. She's making her first visit to the house and took it into a dish of sea bream and a lovely wild mushroom tortellini. Asma will be back as well. She'll be serving up chicken burgers outside on the barbecue from her menu, the restaurant Darjeeling Express. That'll be coming up a little bit later. And our cameras will be making a visit to the legendary chef, Mr. Richard Corrigan, as he serves up a fantastic plate of duck from his kitchen restaurant. And don't miss this week's little masterclass, where we're giving you a step-by-step guide to cooking Cornish Ray. And that's not all, because we've been joined by one of the most talented chefs in the country, whose restaurant, Midsummer House, has put Cambridge on the culinary map. It's the legend that is Daniel Clifford. Good to have you back, fella. Good to have you back. Now, what are you going to be cooking for us? Because your food is always amazing.
I'm doing a poached cod wrapped in parsley with a parsley root veloute, a brondale of cod and a parsley sauce.
This is obviously from the restaurant menu,
Yeah, it's gone on last week, so It's a new one, but I think it's... I always have to up my game when I come here, so this one is a favourite.
Tell us about the restaurant then, because you've had the restaurant for how many... You've had it for a couple of decades now.
25 years now, yeah.
25 years?
25 years, and this year, if we keep it, it'll be 20 years of 2 stars.
Wow. So, if you keep it. Well, nothing's guaranteed in life, isn't it? But you're going to definitely get there, definitely. Right, I thought I'd kick things off today with a lovely little ceviche inspired by some authentic Mexican ingredients from a woman I'm going to introduce you to a little bit later, because one of our people who work on the show found this wonderful lady at a farmer's market in Caversham.
Really?
And this is where we're going to get to. So I'm going to do the ceviche first. So we've got some beautiful little bits of sea bass. I've got some avocado, a little bit of lime. So you can, I mean, the ceviche, you can do it with any fish you want, really. We've got snapper, we've got John Dory, it's wonderful. But I've got some beautiful little bit of bass over here, which I'm just going to take a nice little bit of chunk of. And then I'm going to mix this together with some nice little bit of avocado. But I'm going to dice this all up. Rather than slice it, I'm just going to dice it. So I'm going to take this, dice it all up, mix together with a little bit of lime, everything else, and I'm going to put it with this amazing little sauce that I can see you're desperate to have a taste of over here.
I keep looking, but I'm not allowed to touch.
Yeah, well, you are in a minute, because this is a bit hot and fiery sauce. Like I said, we're going to visit this amazing lady now, so hopefully we can talk more about these Mexican ingredients. So we're going to head up to Maidenhead in Berkshire. It looks like we're going live to Mexico, to be honest, with the setup that she's got behind her, to speak to Ana Guzman from the Maya Mexican food business. Nice to meet you, Anna.
Hi, nice to meet you. Hi, James. Hi,
lovely to see you as well. I feel like I'm under pressure from both sides, really. I've got a 2-star Michelin chef, and I've got you looking on while I'm doing this as well, whether I'm doing this right. But first of all, tell me about yourself, really, because this wasn't your first line of work, and this wasn't your first business. You were a PE teacher.
Yes. In Mexico, I am a PE teacher. And then I need to start everything again. So I had children first. And then I started working. I'm working with autistic children.
Yeah.
And inside of this, I wanted to bring something real and authentic Mexican flavor.
Is it because you couldn't find? Is it because you couldn't find the ingredients here when you came over?
Yes. I prefer to eat well, don't eat well and properly. So in Mexico, we do more fresh salsas every day when you eat in your meals. But this salsa, what is particular and what I like and I use every day here, is because it's ready to eat. Give you a smoky flavor, and you can put in almost everything: rice, pasta, noodles, stir fry, use in your scrambled egg, and it goes very well.
So tell me about the because you met your husband in Madrid, who's Polish.
No, he went to many years ago. I don't remember. He went to Jalapa, where I am from, Jalapa, Veracruz.
Right.
And he was there. I thought he was American. And then we saw each other in Barcelona when I was living in Madrid. Then my friend needs to come to London, and he had worse English than me. So I said, okay, at least I know fine and thank you and a few more words. Come on.
Right.
And here I met him later on, and he was living here. So the last year living in Madrid, we started a relationship, and we ended up here.
So you end up where you ended up. One of our people who work on the show is a lady called Sam Head. She found you in Caversham Market. You're there
Yes.
selling this amazing produce. So tell me about the produce that you've got, because we're about to let the 2-star Michelin chef decide how good it is over here. Because I've tasted this, I know it's going to be good as well. So we've got in here. Tell me about this particular mixture over here, because it looks almost like what I call it chili crack. You know, that sort of amazing sort of
like the Japanese. When I walked in, I thought it was from there.
Japanese sort of stuff. What exactly is this, and how is it used in Mexican food? What is it?
This is salsa macha. This is from Veracruz. We have like, I think, 31 states in Mexico. So one is Veracruz, and this salsa is from this state. And what we have there is Mexican chilies, dry Mexican chilies with oil. I can do vegetable oil or olive oil. They have a little of the spices like oregano, a bit of thyme. What I put more there that you cannot see, but you can taste, is my heart.
So
I do this with all the love that I have from Mexico. It's like I want to give and share the flavor.
So this stuff over here, you mix it with the Mexican chilies. Are they smoked? Is it smoked chili?
All of them are smoked.
Right. And then in here you've got the oil, and I've got one with peanuts. This is by the way, you've yet to taste this. This is fantastic. The peanut one as well. What else goes in this? Because you've got seeds. What else do you put in here?
This one has sesame seed and peanuts.
Right.
I have with cranberry also. I have a nuts free for people who has allergies. And I have a nutty one that has pumpkin seed, cashews, almond, and a bit of peanuts too. On all of them, I have Milo hot.
He's going back for a second bit.
Oh,
That's good, that.
It's good,
but
that,
put
isn't
in
it?
something. You need to put on bread, tortilla, tacos, no, by itself.
It's got a kick, though.
It's got a kick though. So, but do you serve it in Mexico? I've only been to Mexico once, and I was in the top part of Mexico. So, do you serve this? What is it? You say it's served with anything. You can actually serve this with anything.
Anything.
This is like the classic sauce that you have, is it?
We do more fresh salsas, but this one is because I do here because it can last longer. A fresh salsa is like you eat immediately and that's all. But this one can keep months in your jar, ready for your food, and only add a smoky flavor.
I mean, the hot one has got quite a kick, without a shadow of doubt. Which we got. So you started off, and you actually started off this business only recently. Was it just only a year ago? Wasn't it? This business you started?
I think 1 year I started doing cheese because I cannot find fresh cheese out in Mexico. And then I changed to salsas. I said, oh, why not salsas too? Then I'm not doing cheese anymore.
So hold on, you started making cheese.
Yes.
How do you make Mexican cheese?
Oh, you know what? I check videos in YouTube, of course, and we do the same kind of cheese in Portugal, in South America, just because it's one ingredient.
Right. So what milk do you use making cheese? What do you make it out of?
Cow.
Right, cow's milk.
Yes.
And I presume this is like a fresh cheese, is it? It doesn't take. What do you make? Yeah. So it's like a soft.
Rennet.
Got it. Rennet.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes, that one. That is the only ingredient, and a bit of salt.
Now you've got a lover of the cranberry one that you've got over here.
The cranberry one is absolutely delicious. I love that one. That one. The interesting thing is, as you're eating it, the flavour's changing because you get the peanuts to start. It's sesame seeds in there as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get that at the last minute. It's unique. When I first came in, I looked at it and I thought, oh, it's going to be Japanese, but it's not. It's got a beautiful. That heat is there.
It's the background taste that amazes me.
It's the warmth. Yeah, the warmth is beautiful.
So I've used some of it in here. I'm just going to show you what we got in here. So I'm just going to show you this before we find out about where you get it from. But I just want to show you this. This is the little bit of bread. So all I've done in here is mix together a touch of water with a little bit of flour, and then you take some of this. Well, it's not bread, but it is bread technically-ish. But we take this and then we put it through a pasta machine. So This isn't Mexican, by the way, but I'm thinking of textures that I can do because another thing you've sent me is this amazing salt. So what I want to do with this, I'll just lose this out of the way. What I want to do with this is serve it with this bread about these sort of textures. So I'm going to open this up, and then you take some of this flour, and then this is just to make some little bread to go with it. We're then going to take this. You could probably do this and sell it in the Caversham market. There you go. Next time. And sell it with it. But you take your little pasta machine, so you put that through the machine like this, and then you make it slightly thinner. So it's a bit like when you're doing pasta, you get it as thin as you possibly can get. And you
Like
keep
pizza?
going, keep going, keep going. You'll need a little bit of flour while you're doing that. So dust it with a bit of flour over the top. And you go again, and you get it as thin as you do pasta. So you almost see through it. You see that?
Yes.
I can't believe I'm teaching both of these while I say it's Saturday, to be honest with you. But look, do this, and then you take your little bit of bread, put it onto a tray with a touch of water, because another thing you've got, which you sent me, this is the reason why I wanted to do this, if you sent me these salts, you've got this salt on here. So tell me about these salt mixture that you've got with your chilies.
Yeah, the salt is organic sea salt. I have coarse salt or fine salt with chipotle and arbol. Arbol is a smoky chili that we cannot find very easily here. The most famous is chipotle, but arbol is very, how can I say, it's special at Chile. Also, I think you have habanero.
Yeah.
So this one is good for marinate. Even the salsa, you can marinate foods. You can marinate beef, chicken, salmon, and again grill it, and it's delicious.
I mean, I find Mexican food fascinating because I just think people look at it and just do the classic, just 2-3 dishes.
Yeah, that's it. We
and
don't,
you don't go
anything about it.
It's so much more complex, isn't it, really?
Well, you taste these. That is, like, the sweetness coming through, and then you've got the chili. We don't understand chili in this country. We've never really used it. But I think, to be honest with you, looking at this, it's a different world. Yeah,
and I think with this, so I'm going to take this little bread. So this is what it looks like when you bake these in the oven. You've just got your little salts there. All it is bread through the pasta machine, or just flour and water through the pasta machine, like that. And then the idea is you can serve this in amongst everything else with the sea bass, that kind of stuff as well. A little bit of that. You take a touch of coriander. I've got some coriander and some mint in there as well. A little bit over the top. And there we have it. Hopefully I've done it justice. My little ceviche, I think I've done it right. I'm not from Mexico. I don't know very little about Mexican food, but you taught me twice as what I already knew.
No, you did very well. You did kind of bread. You can do the same with corn, and you have kind of totopos or nachos.
Well, best of luck, Anna. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good luck.
Adios.
Right, bon appetit, fella.
Thank you very much.
There you go. It is pretty. It's amazing, isn't it? That they're different, and the depth of flavour of that, really, as well.
I think, to be honest with you, they're all bringing something different to the party. Yeah. It's the cranberry one is beautiful. The hot one I've just had.
It is pretty hot.
Yeah, it's hot. Yeah, it's hot for an Englishman. Yeah.
But it's the Mexican food sort of stuff. The Mexican food scene. I mean, like you, I know very, very little about it, but the depth of flavours and everything is just fantastic. From the corn, the bread.
That is so fresh.
It's so fresh with a little teaspoon of that as well. But I know you like experimenting, so I'm going to give you a couple of jars of this to take home to Cambridge with you. But I think it's cracking stuff there. The people of Caversham are very, very lucky as well.
Yes.
Now we're treating the Loose Women star Kaye Adams to a barbecued sea bream very shortly, and I'll be joining a recipe from Chef Richard Corrigan. That's coming up a little bit later. But join us again after the break, when Daniel and I will try and solve some of your kitchen dilemmas with a little help from Chef Asma. I'll see you after the break. It's tasty, that, isn't it?
Delicious.
Welcome back. Now we're cooking a first course for my guest Kaye Adams from Loose Women very shortly, and I'll be showing you how to cook Cornish Ray to perfection in this week's little masterclass. No pressure there then, because I'm here with Daniel Clifford as well. We're about to be joined by a chef who's become one of the most influential women in the food world thanks to her success at an amazing restaurant, Darjeeling Express. It's the fabulous Asma. Wonderful to have you back.
Thank you.
Now, your food is amazing. Daniel's yet to taste your food, which it is amazing.
I can't wait.
What are you going to cook for us today, then?
I'm making a chicken kebab burger.
Chicken kebab burger?
Yes.
With different relishes, is that
Yes,
as well?
and it's fabulous because that burger is got many layers of chutney on it.
Right.
We often also call it bun kebab. So the bun and a kebab inside. What you don't mention is the chutney, but the chutney is the soul of that dish.
OK, sounds pretty good to me. That's coming up a little bit later. But, of course, with these two here, I'll be cooking for us later. I thought right now we'd take a look at some of the dishes that you guys have been cooking at home as well. So, first up, a big well done goes to Michael Palomares, who made this amazing-looking paella. Look at that. How good does that one look? With the mussels on the top. Don't know how many people you catered for there, but it looks pretty good. Right, on last week's show, I made an apple cake and a tartan with this year's crop of apples. And it looks like Steve Burgess has been putting the harvest to good use with a deep dish apple pie. Looks pretty good for me as well.
Delicious, yeah.
Happy with that one?
Yeah.
It's right up our street, all this sort of food, isn't it?
Yeah.
And finally, just check this one out. This top marks goes this week to Michelle Wilson in Sheffield for these creations. They're not flowers.
Really?
These are actually cupcakes.
They're not.
Cupcakes.
Very nice.
How good is that?
Yeah.
That's
How good is
amazing.
that? You could sell them.
Yeah,
Definitely could be able to sell them. There you go. Now, do keep sending your photos and videos, and we'd love to see them on the show as well. We've got loads of questions for food and cooking. So I thought, as soon as these two are here, we'd have a go and answer a few of them right now. So this is like cooking questions record time.
Oh my God. Okay.
All right, so we've got about 10 minutes to get rattled through all these. All right.
Right.
So there's some great questions on this. So I've got to put my glasses on because I'm definitely getting older. Right, Nicola Beatty, my 15-year-old daughter loves cooking and wants to become a chef one day.
Well, encourage her. Absolutely. I think that this is what we need. The next generation of women who come into the restaurants will actually change the entire hospitality.
She says, where's the best place to start with this? I always think 15 years old, you want to work in the nearest restaurant if you live in Cambridge.
I think you should.
You kind of... I always think... If somebody
The only place to learn is in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I think that's the truth.
Would you say that was the thing
Absolutely. You learn with the kitchen. And, you know, for all of us who've learned watching our mothers and grandmothers, the next thing is the same thing. Stand next to someone who's cooking.
Yeah.
That experience, because you learn from all your senses, the aroma, the sight, the sounds, all of that is the best learning.
But I think from a young age, you'll learn whether you want to do it as a career and whether you don't want to do it as a career. If you work... Do you know what I mean? If you work in a kitchen... in a professional kitchen, you'll learn, yes, this is for me or it isn't for me quite early on.
I don't think you can read it. I don't think you can learn out of textbooks. I think you need to be in a kitchen. I think, and I think knocking on people's doors, you know, an all-female kitchen. What a place to start.
Yeah.
If I was a lady, that's where I'd be going. I'll be honest with you. So
Yeah, we take you absolutely 100%.
Right, here's another one. Tim Brown. Everybody loves Sunday roast with all the trimmings, but what meat do you like most with it? Beef, lamb, pork, or chicken?
I like beef.
Yeah.
Yes.
it's beef or chicken. It depends. I think, to be honest with you, summertime, I would go chicken. Winter, I'd go beef.
See, I've got to say beef probably tops it really, but pork, when you get pork really, really good.
Good pork is
you get that with the crispy crackling?
Yeah.
That's definitely the one. There you go. Right, here's another one. Lorraine Walker, what is the secret to making the perfect roast potatoes?
Not me. He's going to say.
And we've got to ask the double Michelin star chef over it. Roast potatoes. Give us a masterclass.
The way to start is the right potato. So a Maris Piper or a chipper or
Chipper.
yeah, that's a potato, a variety that we use at the moment.
Yeah. Maris Piper is probably the easiest one to get.
Probably in the supermarkets, yes.
Yeah.
I think peel them, cut them all to the same size, not too small. Bring them up in salted boiling water, cook them slowly, don't boil them, just simmering so they're gently falling apart. Take them out, put them on a cooling rack. And what I do on a cooling rack is I rub them really quickly so they get rough on the outside, loads of goose fat, really hot pan, in, and just leave them and turn them and turn them and turn them, but let them get crispy. That's for me the best way I do a roast potato.
I said some chefs, once they get to the stage where you put them on the tray before you put them in the fat, they freeze them as well. I've seen a lot of that.
I do have frozen potatoes in my freezer. I'll be honest with you, because I think that is it does really, really work.
Yeah.
And I think it's lovely if you've got the time. Prep-wise, yes, go freeze them. But if you're doing them off the cuff, yeah, I would cook them slowly and then...
Right. Layla, what are the absolute essential herbs and spices everybody should have in their kitchens? I'll give you the herbs, I'll give you the spices. So spices first.
Cumin, dried chilies, and all the kind of garam masalas, cardamom, cassia bark, and tezpata, which is our Indian bay leaf.
That's where you get it. That's exactly that. Right. You've learned from that as well. He's written that down.
Yeah. Fresh herbs or...
Fresh herbs. You get the herbs.
OK, so, yeah, bay leaf definitely growing in the garden, thyme, rosemary, sage, if it's a favourite, chives, because for salads they're beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what
I mean, the two herbs that you can't get really in the supermarket that much anymore, really, is chervil, which I absolutely love. If you can grow that, it's amazing. Another one is lemon verbena.
Oh,
I absolutely love it. I grow it in the garden. It's brilliant for tea. But brilliant in desserts.
I've never come across it.
Lemon verbena. You rub the leaf. It's this fragrant
beautiful.
Citrus. It's my favourite herb.
I'll take some from your garden.
Exactly. You take a cutting. Yeah, there we go. Right. This is a good one. I like this one as well. This one's definitely a good one. We've got one about Michelin star food over here. Right. This comes from Claire Stevens. This is quite interesting. So I hear a lot about Michelin stars on the programme, but what are they? What have they got to do with the tyre company? And what's the difference between 1, 2 and 3?
Well, the guidebook was designed around a tyre company. It was because they mapped out the whole region of France to start with. Then they went to Europe. Basically, the stars are, 1 is really, really good cooking. I think 2 is a restaurant that's worth a detour, and 3 is basically it's the best restaurant that you can ever go to. I would say that's my theory of Michelin stars. How do you get them? You're very lucky that they travel.
Hard work, that's how you get them. He's very humble. Hard work and graft is how you get them.
Yeah, but I think the end of the day is the beauty of the Michelin Guide is that it does travel you around England, and it does give you some really good recommendations of great places to go with a wallet.
With a wallet, yeah.
That is very important to have.
Exactly. Right, it sounds stupid. This comes from Jess Masons. Nothing sounds stupid, but there you go. If it sounds stupid, but when you're tasting food, how can you tell if something's seasoned correctly?
Oh my God.
Well, for me, I if I'm making a soup, I'd stir it and then I would taste it, and then when I think it's right, I would take the spoon and I'd just put a couple of tiny morsels of salt onto the spoon and then taste it again. And if it's too salty at that point, I haven't over-seasoned the whole soup. I've just over-seasoned that 1 spoon, and that's how I've always done it. Is don't season the whole product until you think it's ready, and then just taste it in a tiny...
But it's one of those things, it's personal preference, isn't it? Really?
100%.
I mean, you see many people in the restaurant, you get served the food and they get the peppermill and go,
I know.
what are you doing?
No, somebody asked me for salt, and I was like, why do you want salt? He dropped wine on his tie. Right. Because for me, that was like, oh my God. But the other thing is that also when you, like for us, for when you have a gravy, is make sure that you stir it really well, that you're tasting what is in the entire pot.
Everything.
Because one problem is if you just take it from the top, and it hasn't actually gone infused through all the way, you can end up making a mistake.
But also, if you're doing larger pots, you've got to season it and then wait.
Yes.
Do not season it and taste straight away.
Especially with rock salt and stuff like Maldon salt, it doesn't dissolve as quickly.
OK, we've got one more question over here. Gary, have you got any good recipes to make use of the crayfish we have in our rivers? We've got hundreds of these, millions of them, these American little crayfish that are raiding our native crayfish. Crayfish, really, the little small little crayfish.
I would make them with coconut milk and garlic and ginger, like a malai curry, and I think that's so wonderful.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you'd just add them at the last minute, wouldn't you, really? You make the sauce first and then
So I just add the
them
coconut milk on the top.
Yeah. Me, I like shellfish. I like it roasted in butter. I think roast it in butter, put it through some pasta, it would be absolutely stunning.
There you go, there you go. Well, thanks for that. I've learned a few things out of that as well. I don't know about you at home, but there you go. If you've got anything you'd like to know about food and cooking, then do get in touch. We'll try to answer some of your questions right here on the show. And do keep sending your pictures and videos coming in. We'd love to see you have been inspired to cook at home. OK, with these two cooking for us a little bit later, I thought I'd be showing you an amazing recipe as well for Cornish Ray in this week's Little Masterclass. But I'll see you in a few minutes. We'll be serving up barbecued sea bream for journalist and presenter Kaye Adams. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Now, Chef Asma will be treating us to her take on an amazing chicken burger. And Daniel Clifford will be serving up a stunning dish of butter poached cod a little bit later. But first, I'm here with a journalist, presenter and podcaster who's been telling it how it is on Loose Women and the Loose Women panel for more than 20 years. It's the brilliant Kaye Adams. Ching, ching, ching. Welcome to the house.
Ching,
We
ching.
finally got you, I think. I think
Yeah.
the last of the Loose Women.
Well, the last of the Loose Women, I hope I will be. But, you know, you should say that. But I've been wanting to come on this show for years.
Yeah, well, we've got you.
Fan,
But I know you're a big foodie as well because,
Yep.
you know, we've seen you on TV cooking as well. And
I'm a terrible cook,
Right.
but I like good food.
OK, all
So,
right.
I mean, that's not a great combination.
So we've got sea bream, because I know you love this sort of flavours as well, Moroccan.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a lovely bit of barbecued sea bream. We've got some fish. I'm going to use this stuff called farro. And then I'm just going to transfer this into a little salad. I'm going to do it as a warm salad to go with this beautiful bit of sea bream. This sea bream is amazing.
See, I would not know what to do with that, James.
You wouldn't know what to do with it.
I mean, it looks fabulous, but God,
Well,
no.
all you've got to do with it is that. So you just do that
Right.
and that.
And that's it.
And that's it, technically. I mean, the key to this sort of cooking is simplicity. So you take the sea bream, you take a little bit of parsley and some oregano, and you can pop it into the little cavity over there. You can put lemon with it as well, but just a little bit of salt. Nothing else, just that and a little bit of salt. We'll do the same thing with the other one as well. You just take that, and then I'm basically just going to barbecue it nice simply over here, and I can finish it off in the oven as well if you want to do. But we just... The key to this, really, is leaving it whole. When it's filleted, you can't tell whether how fresh it is.
Yeah.
This is absolutely bangingly fresh. It comes from good fishmonger, a mate of mine, Johnny from Cornwall. And we get it in, and it's just simply cook it. We're just going to basically pop it on one of these and simply grill it as well. So where do we start with your career? Let's start at the beginning then.
Oh, my God, this will take us a while.
Well, no,
Have you got another bottle?
We've got plenty to drink in here.
Yeah,
Don't worry
good,
about that. What got you into journalism first of all? Really, what was the thing that got you into that?
Well, funnily enough, like Asma, I wanted to be a lawyer. I hear that Asma was a lawyer.
Yeah.
And so I went to university and I did first year constitutional law, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to be a lawyer. It was too hard. Joined the student newspaper, and it kind of just went on from there. And then I was really lucky to get a traineeship. Central Television in Birmingham back in the day.
Right.
And so, you know, from the get-go, I was fortunate enough to sort of get a foothold in telly.
Because it's notoriously quite a difficult industry to get in, or is it?
Well, yes, it is. And I mean, I really feel that obviously you get a lot of young people who come and say, how do I get into television? And it's for them trying to work out, well, what is it you really want to do? Because there's a million jobs in television. But funnily enough, I was on Loose Women the other day, and there was a bunch of young people in the audience, and they were from all these different regional television stations,
Yeah.
and they had been taken on as trainees. And I said to them, my God, that's the same scheme that I did. And then I was about to say how many years ago, and then I just kind of glossed over that. A long time ago. So I was really pleased to see that actually, you know, these television companies are training young people.
But you're quite earlier on. Was it you were in your 20s? You've got to do some amazing things, wasn't it? Margaret Thatcher when you were 23.
Yeah, I mean...
How did you end up interviewing...
Well, do you know what? That does sound
one of
a
the
lot more-
legends.
I know, it was much more impressive. It sounds more impressive than it was, to be perfectly honest. I was desperate to impress my boss, as everyone is at that age. And so I wrote to her press secretary, Sir Bernard Ingham. And it was quite a childlike letter. I mean, I've still got it. And, I mean, it's kind of embarrassing. You know, please can I interview the Prime Minister? And he wrote back, and God knows why, and said yes. And so I was granted an hour with Margaret Thatcher at 10 Downing Street. And she appeared behind the door really quickly. And she sort of, oh, come in, ushered me in, and sort of, you know, I remember her sort of dusting down my jacket, because it had a little bit of sort of oose on it, as I would call it.
Yeah.
And she showed me round, showed me out onto Horse Guards Parade, gave me the guided tour. Like your auntie.
I mean,
you know.
journalism is one thing, but the opportunities that arise, and some for the great and some for the bad. I mean, the Lockerbie thing that you covered as well. I mean, that must be, as a young journalist as well,
Yeah.
How do you cope with that as a... How do you...
Well, I
it
think...
fascinates me with journalism, how you switch off from...
Yeah.
It's not... Do you switch off from reality?
Well, I think the thing is with that, you know, your youth protects you. You know, I mean, I happened to be... I think I probably was the first TV journalist on the scene at Lockerbie, which was entirely by chance. I was supposed to be covering a suspected meningitis scare somewhere in Lanarkshire, and then we got a phone call on our mobile phone, which was the size of a suitcase, of course, you know, and, oh, we think there's been a military crash in the borders, an air crash. So head on down there. So we did, and then we kept getting information being relayed as we travelled down there, and you just realise you just get a sense, don't you, that there's something really big. And my first memory of it, we had to abandon the car at some point. I was with the film crew, and so I was going down one of the slip roads onto the A74 to get into Lockerbie, and there was charred cars. You know, just burnt-out cars. And, you know, you're looking at them thinking, well, who was in this car? You know, what's happened there? And then just sort of in the near distance was this massive crater where, of course, the fuselage had dropped, surrounded by the fire crew. And, like I said, what age was I, 25, something like that? I was a babbling wreck. And my news editor, who was like the archetypal, you know, hufty-tufty, grumpy news editor, David Scott, who was a wonderful man. He said, right, now just calm down. Right. Just tell me what you see, And he talked me through it. And
But I've got to talk to you about Loose Women as well, because I've appeared on that show several times as well.
Oh, we love a bit of James Martin in Loose Women, we really do.
But 1999?
1999,
you were one of the first people to do it?
Yep, I think it was myself, Nadia Sawala and Jane Moore were on the first programme.
When you were doing that sort of show, really, did you think that there's something really special here? Because it'd never been... Nothing else was like that.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because it was initially a month's pilot, you know, and I think it was September time, and, you know, it's that time of year that, you know, television executives get funny ideas for weird programmes, and so there was kind of like, oh yeah, here we go again, another month's pilot. But actually, if I'm honest, very quickly we thought, do you know what? I think we might actually be onto something.
You've now just finished a UK tour as well. I mean, taking it out on the road. You didn't do the entire full tour, but you did a big chunk of it. Yeah,
I think I did 8 out of the 16. We kind of divvied it up amongst us. I think there were 16 of us in all.
So how did you find that then, going out on the road? Because it's great. Do you think it's great to see the whites of people's eyes and stuff like that? I mean, COVID was one thing, we couldn't get to experience that, but you've got an audience there anyway, but albeit a smaller audience. But when you go out and you go these... First of all, these beautiful theatres that you go into as well.
Yeah, Southampton, Mayflower was absolutely beautiful. I think we started off the Symphony Hall in Birmingham, also lovely. Oh, and Glasgow Concert Hall.
Not bad locations, are they, really?
Which was amazing. Do you know what, James? We absolutely loved it. And at the beginning, to be honest, we were kind of locked up in ourselves. You know, what's it going to be like? Because we'd never done it before. We didn't know how it was going to work out. But once we got on stage on the first night, and again, it was that feeling, oh, wait a minute, I think this is going to go, this is OK. Then we just focused on the audience, and you're right, it was just so nice to see real people, you know. I mean, we have a studio audience, which is great, and we love our studio audiences, but I think lots of people, ourselves included, get a bit kind of wound up with the whole social media thing, don't we? And then when you sweep that to one side and see real people who've taken the trouble to come out for the night, to pay the money, to come and see it. It's the night out,
the thing. Yeah. That, you know, it's that when you walk out stage, it's people who've paid to come and see you, but also you realise that they've got a hotel, they've gone out for dinner, it's their night out, so you've got to give it everything.
You've absolutely got to make sure that they have a great night.
You get to experience it, albeit I don't know how a journalist and also I don't know how a chef gets to experience that sort of thing, what a musical artist would experience, but it's that in a smaller sort of way, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a really sort of, just a very human...
But you mentioned about social media. You're now in podcasting as well, because this is the only little break that you took away from Loose Women.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, then, social media suddenly kicks off.
Yeah.
You then pick up on this, and you're now, you know, this social media idea was a celebration of a milestone in your life, a birthday in your life.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it was a milestone I never, ever thought I would celebrate because I have always been a bit hung up about my age. And I'm ashamed to say it because I know it's really pathetic, but I would shave years off my age if I would get away with it. I would always be a bit kind
Why?
of loose with the truth. I don't know, my mum was a bit bonkers about her age, and she would only ever admit to being over 21. So, although we used to take the mickey out of her for that, something stuck in me, obviously.
Is that still with your family now, still?
No, I've got over it. And
Right.
then so I was 60 last year, and at the end of the year, my birthday's in December, and I was just thinking, this is pathetic. You know, I mean, I was lying to my kids about what my age was. You know, I mean, it was just pathetic. And so you just, you know, you run things over in your head a little bit, and I thought it'd be a really interesting subject to do in a podcast, and you have to do it in a really conversational kind of format.
Well, you're gonna try and get me into this podcasting thing. We're gonna throw it throughout the morning.
I know,
as well,
so one
a bit
thing you
later
don't
as well.
do.
Exactly, but I'm just going to show you this little fish to finish off. I've taken the skin off as well, so it's easier to eat. But keep the skin on; it protects it while it's barbecuing. But there you have it. I put a little bit of feta cheese in there. We've got some fresh parsley in there. It's a beautiful, beautiful looking dish with a little bit of fresh cumin in there. But there we have it: my roasted sea bream with a nice little bit of farro salad. Easy as that. Okay, there you go. You get to dive in. You're not allowed out until you finish it all. Right.
Well, I better get tucked in, hadn't I?
Tell us what you think of that.
I'll be here till next Tuesday.
I think you'd attempt something like that. Be all right.
Now, oh my God, you're going to look at my fish technique.
Go on, you could just eat it. We'll turn away. It's
Are
fine.
you sure?
We'll turn away.
People will say, oh, she's a heathen. She doesn't know how to eat fish. I'll take its head off. Okay, I'm going to go for this first.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
I'll take a little bit of the fish. Look, take this. This will just come off like that. There you go.
Oh, lovely.
So you see it's cooked. It's so simple.
That is so nice. That is absolutely
Good starter.
gorgeous.
You got to stick around for the rest of the day and have some more?
Yeah, not
Good
getting
stuff.
at me.
Right,
Oh
we're
my
treating
God.
Kaye to a wild mushroom tortellini a little bit later on this morning. And there's a masterclass in cooking Cornish Ray coming your way very shortly. But join us again after the break. We've got a recipe from the one and only Richard Corrigan. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Now we're treating Kaye Adams to a wild mushroom tortellini a little bit later on this morning. And Chef Asma will be putting an amazing spin on a chicken burger in just a few minutes. But before that, we're going to dip into the archives to enjoy a timeless recipe from a chef who's been a legend of the London restaurant scene for decades. So here with a brilliant recipe for duck is the one and only Richard Corrigan. Enjoy this one. I know I will.
This dish is a roast free-range duck with pineapple and pak choy. So nice little bit of seasoning internally as well. A little bit of pepper. Duck has a nice layer of fat underneath the skin, which you really want to remove by just slow cooking it in the pan first. Quite delicate. It won't take a lot of cooking. 10 minutes in the oven after I brown it in the pan, and then rest it at least for 20. That's the key to a beautiful pink roast duck. So a nice hot pan. Now, hot doesn't mean smoking hot, but nice and hot that we can just cook that duck, give it a nice color. What I have here is just a small bit of duck fat, and I'm just putting that into the cavity. I'm doing this for the reason is I like my duck to be nice and crisp and brown. And I think certainly crisp goes really well with this dish. So not a flabby, tight skin, but a nice, crisp, tight skin. And just a little bit of thyme into the cavity. Purely for flavor. Yeah. Duck, chicken, bit of thyme inside. Wow. The Chinese use heat as almost as a seasoning element. And takes many years to understand what they're talking about. But you know what? Just get the colour right on that beautiful duck. Get the right zing and the zang. Minute and a half, 2.5 minutes either side, sitting on the breast. 2.5 minutes then sitting on one of the sides of the breast. Turned over, another 2.5 minutes on the other side. And as this browns just perfectly, when I put it into my roasting dish, I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of honey all over the duck. The honey, add a bit of sweetness. I mean, you can't help yourselves. Honey, limes, pineapple, pak choy, ginger. Yeah. A few nice beers out in the garden. Now, straight into the oven. So, while that's cooking over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to prepare the pineapple. 2 pieces of pineapple, and then just a sprinkling of sugar. Just a sprinkling, not a lot. And that helps just to caramelize it beautiful in the pan. Just take duck and fruit, duck applesauce, duck plums, duck peaches, duck pineapple. Why not? Little bit of sunflower oil. Bring back the heat onto the pan. And of course, being a country boy, we have to get a bit of butter in there to baste it. Tiny bit of sunflower oil, make sure it doesn't burn. Lovely. And just nice and slowly, we're going to roast that pineapple. And that little coating of sugar just helps to give it a lovely caramelization on the outside. And of course, butter. I love butter. The pineapple cooking around 5 to 6 minutes. Very slowly, very nicely. No rush whatsoever. And then we're looking for a beautiful bit of colour on it, which would be fantastic. We need to cook the pineapple. It's raw, it's quite acidic. By just cooking it, just mellows it all out. Little sharp bite in it. Perfect thing to go with a ripe rosé duck breast. Butter, pineapple. Duck. Just beautifully caramelized now. And I'm just going to leave it under the grill just to finish cooking. A couple of minutes. Absolutely done and dusted. So the final part of the dish is the pak choy, which I'm just going to cook with a bit of ginger and lime juice. And just steam it really quickly. 1.5 minutes. I want that green to be almost just plucked from the garden. Cut it into quarters. Just take that back part off. It's a delicious way of serving pak choy, and it cooks so quickly. And the key to this pak choy to me is plenty ginger, moistened with the lime juice, fold it up, put in there lots of ginger, lots. Fold it up. Oh yeah. That's the last piece of pak choy. Lots of ginger, lime juice, and I'm going to just steam them over the hot heat. The moisture in the bottom of the pot will just create this steam, and then lid on, 1.5 minutes, ready to serve. So I have my 3 elements: duck, pineapple, pak choy, and let's plate up. Just fold the pak choy back. Just give it a nice little shape. Then a piece of pineapple. Tiny bit of chili on the pineapple. A little bit of that lime syrup. Oh, the syrup is just lime segments and a little bit of light duck syrup, and it just goes so well. I mean, it's impossible to eat lime segments without doing this to them. Absolutely impossible. So we take our duck breast right down there. The back. As you can see, just how I want it. Nice and pink on the bone. And then we can just do a little bit of trimming. Take a little bit of fat. Just beautifully rested, beautifully pink. And then I take some of my lime segments without the syrup that have been soaked. Delicious. No big deal, no heavy sauces. Summer food. Enjoy.
A genius in our midst and a legend behind the hobs, Mr. Richard Corrigan, a brilliant chef. Now, I'll be giving you a crash course in cooking Cornish Ray in this week's Little Masterclass, and there's still loads more to come from my guest, Kaye Adams, later on this morning. But I'll see you back here in a couple of minutes, because we've fired up the barbecue, and on the menu is chicken burgers, courtesy of Chef Asma Khan. Enjoy this one. See you in a bit. Welcome back. Now, coming up, we're sharing the secrets of cooking Cornish Ray in this week's Little Masterclass, and we're making wild mushroom tortellini for Loose Women's Kaye Adams. That's coming up a little bit later. But first, I'm here with Daniel, and we're about to enjoy a dish from a chef who's built a business up from nothing to become one of the most influential women in the food world. From the Darjeeling Express in London, it's the fabulous Asma Khan.
Thank you.
Wonderful to have you back. Now, already this fella's got his eye on the bits and pieces, the lotions and potions you brought with you as well.
He's taken the recipe.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He's actually got it in his pocket already.
So, I'll be honest with you, this is a masterclass from an expert.
I know, exactly. Well, I get
I'm sitting
excited
back.
every time you come on the show as well. So what are you going to be doing then?
So I'm making something that on the street is called bun kebab.
Right.
The bun and a chicken kebab. So it's a chicken kebab burger.
Right.
This is not fusion. This is actually our food. We eat this all across the subcontinent.
Okay.
And I also think that, I want people to understand that, Indian food is more diverse than just, korma and pulao and naan and kebab.
Massively. You've only got to go to it. If you get the plane in India, you realise, what on earth I've been eating all my life? What is this all about?
But I have some news for you. You're going to do a lot of the work of
Okay,
this.
I don't mind that. So this is the burger bit first of all, is it?
Yes,
Right.
So you need to chop this and this and this.
So the onions, the tomatoes and the chilies
all
and all
small,
that
small, huh? All to look the same.
Okay, all small.
Yeah.
So you've got chicken mince there as well.
Yes, it's chicken mince, it's thigh mince, and in goes very, very thick yogurt. None of this kind of low-fat, flunsy stuff. And garlic, ginger.
So this is a ginger paste.
Ginger paste, garlic paste.
Right.
Then coriander and garam masala and chilies. And I mix it all together.
So tell everybody about the journey that you had, because the journey you had to the restaurant is quite fascinating. What, your journey, because, well, tell us about it.
Well, I began from home, doing dinners every time my husband left. I did behind his back, and
What, you opened the restaurant, you opened your house to everybody and did all these
Say
dinners?
someone whose house you're all cooking in, huh? So not so surprising.
Yeah,
I did that because there's this thing that, you didn't see anyone in hospitality who looked like me. And the stories that you always heard, when I went to people asking for money and help, the one thing they all told me is, this is your hobby. And I was just wondering, is this because I'm a female or I'm in my 40s? But I thought, I will not be crushed by the fact that people ask you want to cook because it's your hobby. No, I want to be like the best in the world. I want to open a restaurant. And this was my voice inside, but I didn't dare say this to anyone because I was dismissed and I was made to feel that this is some a place not for you.
Really?
Yes, because, I mean, this is 10 years ago.
Right.
And 10 years ago, you never saw someone like me opening a restaurant in central London, in Soho. And also, I didn't have the opportunity to see this even in my own country. I am at the level where I am, the only Indian all-female kitchen in the world.
There needs to be more, because your food is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep.
Well, so now this is ready. I'm now...
Please tell me, do you do this on a barbecue in the restaurant, or do you use a pan?
I use a pan.
Yeah.
And I will save you...
Just so I know what's about to happen, by the way. So I'm about to try to cook these, then I'm going to try and cook a few on the barbecue as it is.
No, I think I need a little bit of oil on my hands because I'm not going to be able to... It's going to sticky. Yeah, thank you.
So this is all recipes that you learn living in India, or...
Yeah.
So you've learnt from your family and then come over and...
I've learned from my family, and I think that's how most people learn how to cook, unless you're a chef, a male chef. Then you learn in culinary school and in five-star hotels.
But I think as a chef, I've learnt more in the last 10 years by eating out, travelling, meeting people like you, than I learned in...
Because I know he's got the recipe for that.
I've got that one.
In his pocket, yes.
But this is nothing. I mean, you're going to have a little taste of that mango chutney, but it's nothing like the mango chutney.
When I first looked at it, I couldn't believe it was mango chutney because
I don't want to splash your nice fancy green shirt, so you can put this yourself.
But I think, to be honest with you, the beauty of that is it's not just mango, it is everything. Every flavour is coming out, and it's got heat, but it's got sweetness, but it's not super sweet. It's just delicious.
And chutney should not be sharbat. You want to taste the fruit that's in there.
Yeah.
And the raisins are there for this bit of sweetness. The panch phoron, the 5-seed spice, which is from Bengal. And the pineapple chutney has chilies in it.
I'm going to try one.
Okay.
I'm trying one. Put yours in the pan. Just put yours in the pan.
Okay, fine. So in the green chutney, which is going to be it's going to go on the bun. All of this stuff goes in: coriander and mint, a bit of salt and water, and that gizmo.
So whereabouts would this be? Because you mentioned the fact that India has amazing regions as well. And the regions absolutely fascinate me. These regions. Don't worry, I'm on it.
I'm not stressing you out. I'm just kind of looking to see what's going to happen.
That's going to stick. I know it's going to stick. Yeah.
No,
do you want this peeled or do you want it?
No, it doesn't have to be peeled.
I wouldn't peel it. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not also worth the hassle. And there's only a limit to how much I can torture you.
Right.
On your own show. So I'm not going to bloody make you peel ginger on top of that.
Opening your restaurant, having this idea, going, this is what I want to do. This is you go from this being a hobby to then do it professionally.
Yeah.
Is it everything you thought it would be? Because
yes.
I think as chefs we go through highs and lows in this sort of business. Yeah. We're in this sort of a low at the moment. You just think everything seems to be hard work. You think almost pedaling backwards at the same time as
It's not burning, right?
Nothing's burning.
Okay.
Nothing's burning. Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to push forwards at the same time as trying to go. It's fine. So
okay,
they're all looking good.
No, I'm just checking.
They're all looking good.
Just checking.
Right. So I'm blending this.
Yes.
And then take the sugar, lemon.
Lemon, and the coriander and thing. You need to chop it a bit. Right. It's been actually wonderful, and every day I walk into my restaurant, I feel grateful.
Yeah.
That I feel that we are custodians of all the dreams of home cooks. Because when you think about it, in every restaurant, you have mostly male cooking our food. But in every home from Afghanistan to Sri Lanka, you have women cooking.
Yeah.
We are really the Shakti and the strength of our cuisine. But I don't mind that there are all these men who are cooking, but the stage should be big enough for all of us.
Yes, 100%.
And that doesn't happen.
You want to live
around India? Is it like France, the different regions, different cuisine?
Absolutely. 4 villages down, 3 villages down, people temper the dal differently. And India is divided into rice-growing areas, wheat-growing areas. When you have roti, naan, chapati, any of that, what you're eating it with is different. But when you're having rice, we eat rice with our hands, you need gravy, so it's looser. So the base, the salan, as we call it, is looser. I think people just don't get that. The one thing that is common throughout are the fact that we always have these accompaniments.
Yeah.
And that is part of this Ayurvedic idea of sweet, sour, savory, all of these kind of combinations of flavors in our food.
But so you grew up in one area?
Yeah.
But how did you learn about the rest of the areas?
I don't know about the rest of the area. I just know the food of my mother's family and my dad's family. That's it.
But I've been to India, and India fascinates me. You mentioned regions and countries. It's very, very loyal to that region as well.
Yes. And, you know, for a long time, everything was seasonal. Everything was what was available close to where you were. And I think that we've forgotten, especially in our race to become like the West. You go to India now, they have ceviche and sushi. I'd never touch it. But everyone is trying to be, you know, westernized.
Yeah.
We are losing the kind of simplicity of our food. And that is really sad. Can you pass me a little bowl so I can start filling out the...
I can pass you that, Chief, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, thank you.
The best way to learn, James, is do it all.
Precisely. What is it? You have a name for this, don't you?
So this is our thali.
Thali.
This is a thali, and that's what we have in our restaurant. And now we are even doing thalis on Sundays.
Right.
So people can come in and have thalis for Sunday lunch. Pretty much like what we would have at home. We haven't just put the rotis there for sure. If you don't have a burger bun, you can just put it in the roti and wrap it up.
Okay.
It's a nice way to do it, but we've got burgers here today.
Do we have a double Whopper or is it a single Whopper?
I'll let you decide as you're doing all the work.
Double, no?
Yeah, yeah.
It's got to be. Can we have it?
It looks so fresh.
Yeah. Double.
Another piece?
Yeah. Another piece? No, I think it might be too much.
Okay.
It'll fall off.
Okay. And you got a little bit. You want some coriander?
Yes.
I love this. This is on the menu? I love this.
This is not on the menu.
No?
Actually, there's a more personal reason why I'm doing this. I have a child who's not into Indian food. He's just gone to Oxford to study, and I miss him. And I just thought that, you know, I'll make something that he loves because he loves burgers, but he doesn't necessarily like korma and pulao. That's normally what I make when I come here. But I just thought that I will make something that, not that he watches any food program.
Yeah, yeah.
He's very intense, academic, a bit like my husband.
Is he proud of you?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
He will not say it.
Of course he's proud of you. Of course he's proud of you. Right, so you've got to give us the name of this dish then, because this, I mean, look at that. If that doesn't inspire him at university and college, this is definitely going to inspire him. So give us the name of this.
So it's a chicken burger, a kebab, bun.
And I haven't done anything. Asma Khan, everybody.
Absolutely. Wow,
Oh,
wow, wow.
thank you so much.
Amazing. That's amazing. Amazing.
See, although I just helped, I get to little taste one of these as well before we can pass it over to the double Michelin star chef, Mr. Daniel Clifford.
Who has eaten copious amounts of chutney.
Exactly. Well, we've been
cooking, he's just been eating chutneys.
Can I just eat this as it is?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Can we just eat this as it is?
Just go for it, chef.
What's your son's name?
Faris.
Faris, what on earth are you doing?
Yeah.
What on earth? If you don't like that, what on earth are you doing?
I'll be honest with you. He should start.
What is he going to be eating if he doesn't like that?
He likes English food.
Oh, you... What are you doing? Anyway, Asma Khan, everybody. That is amazing.
Amazing.
That is amazing. Right, Daniel, we're trying to top trump that after he's nicked the recipe, the other recipe, that is, with a poached cod a little bit later on this morning. I'll be treating to Kaye Adams to a wild mushroom tortellini at the end of the show. But see you in a couple of minutes. We've got a masterclass cooking Cornish Ray. I'll see you in a minute.
You.
That is amazing.
Thank you for your help.
Amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
Welcome back. Now, there's still loads more to come from journalist and presenter Kaye Adams this morning. And Mr. Daniel Clifford will be showcasing his 2-star Michelin skills in the kitchen. That's coming up next. But first, it's time for this week's Little Masterclass. And this week's Masterclass is for a viewer called Amanda Scarrett, who wanted to know how to cook Cornish Ray. So, Cornish Ray is one of those dishes that I actually cook quite a lot in the restaurant, really. It's become really popular. So we've got a beautiful bit of ray over here. Now, I wanted to show you this. This is how we get it from the fishmonger. This is from Johnny, my fishmonger. So I've got this from the restaurant, but I wanted to show you this in its whole form. So obviously there's two of these, one there and one there. But when you actually eat it, there's a little bone that runs right the way through the centre over there, in the centre of the fish like this. Now, what you do to eat it is you scrape the meat away from the thick bit to the thin bit, and it'll just come straight off. Now, they're only long bones, but they're not little ones. You're not going to get them stuck in your throat and all that kind of stuff. It's actually really, really nice fish to eat. But whenever possible, cook it on the bone. A lot of the times, sometimes you actually get it filleted away from the bone like that, and it's got to be very, very quickly pan-fried. But when you cook it like this on the bone, it keeps it beautiful and moist. So for a fish like this, you're looking probably 3 portions like this one. Maybe a fish like this, maybe 2 portions, something like this. If you're feeling generous, because our crew like a little bit of this as well, I'll cook a larger portion, which is a bit of that one. So we're going to take our fish like this, pop it onto a tray, and then pop the rest in the fridge, because that is for my supper tonight, because I love this stuff. But to cook it is very, very straightforward. So you need a hot pan, first of all, and I'm going to do sort of a classic beurre noisette, but grenobloise. We're going to churn it with a little bit of an extra bit of garnish rather than just this nut brown butter, which is beurre noisette. But you start off with a touch of flour over the top and a bit of seasoning. And I like to use some table salt for this rather than use sea salt, because it'll just fall off. So salt and pepper over the top like that. Bit of seasoned flour, and what you want to do is just dust this off. So you're just creating, this will create a lovely little crust on the fish as well. If you don't put the flour in, sometimes it can stick, but fundamentally this is for a nice little bit of texture with it as well, because there's no skin with this, that's been removed. So you want to get that oil nice and hot. The oil that I'm using for this is just a touch of vegetable oil, not olive oil. And you want to get the oil nice and hot, first of all. All you're doing with this is just getting a little bit of colour in the pan. So that's going to go into there, into the nice hot pan. Can wash my hands while that's happening. And you want a nice little bit of colour in here, first of all. So keep your eye on it, like that. Now, the oven for this, because we do cook it in the oven, this is not one of the fishes, particularly if you've got it with the bone on like that, you can cook all the way through in a pan, ideally. If you have got the opportunity to get it all filleted and away from the bone, that way you just flash fry it, really. It will cook in no more than a couple of minutes, really. But a fish like this is going to take probably 5 minutes in the oven. It's not that thick, and it does get a lot thicker than this, but you see you just get a nice little bit of colour on it. So plenty of oil, like that. Nice little colour, first of all. Once you get colour on one side, then what we do is just turn it over. That's it. And on the other side. Now we just pop the whole thing in the oven, in the pan. It's going to take about 5 minutes. Meanwhile, over here, we can get the rest of our garnish for this, really. So for this, I'm going to deep fry some capers. It's important with these that you don't wash the capers, particularly with water. Sometimes you get, obviously, capers with vinegar. Make sure you drain them off really, really well. And they're just going to go into our little sieve, and they're going to go into our fryer, like that. And they should just gently pop up when you deep fry them. You see, quite quickly, they only take about a minute once they're in the fryer, and you get these fried capers where the actual caper, which is small, they just puff up into this nice little open flour. So they're going to fry off. Just make sure they pop up. That's like popping candy, they open up as well. So you've got those lovely little capers like this. We can then drain these off. That's one bit of our dish done. So you've got the fried capers. These are beautiful. So while that's happening, just turn our pan down a little bit. So that's our capers. I've got some caper berries here, which we're going to use for our little garnish as well. But I'm going to use some bread for this, because this is sort of a garnish called grenobloise. It's a bread, so it's fried bread, really, into sort of a nut brown butter sort of sauce. And it is a sauce, classed as a sauce, but you just got a nice little bit of bread, and you want to chop this up into little croutons. That's what you're looking for. So it's actually a really, really simple little dish, this, but the croutons had a lovely little texture. Beurre noisette would be the classic, really, with this, with the nut brown butter, with the lemon and the parsley. But with the addition of this bread and the capers and the caper berries, I think it tastes amazing. So a little bit of oil again in here, and we're going to fry these in there as well. Just to help it along with the colour just a little bit of butter. That's going to go in there. I'm going to get these nice little croutons, lovely and golden brown. The key to this is you don't want them soft. So make sure the pan's not too hot, because what you want the bread doing is sort of drying out at the same time. So often you fry these off, the croutons look as if they're cooked, but they're still soft in the centre. So while that's happening, we turn our attention to a lemon. And for that, I'm just going to take the lemon and we're going to prepare this for segments. So you just take the lemon and you follow the shape of the lemon. The best way to do this is take one cut, and then your next cut is this line over here. So while you're doing this, so you're following the shape of the lemon. The idea is that once you take all the rind off, that it should be a similar shape to a lemon, not square, not a triangle, not a hexagon. You're trying to take the minimum amount of lemon off it, but you're just following each line as you go. And if you follow each line, you'll follow the shape of the lemon. You take this process and follow it with a lime and an orange, you've got the same sort of idea, but that is how you want that. Keep that to one side, because that's great for the compost heap. So you can hear those now, they're nice and dry. So they've got a lovely colour on it. So then what we do is we then drain this off. This may appear a little bit chefy, but I just get in the habit of doing this because I think it's just nicer the way you prepare it all and you have it all ready. So you've just got your nice little bit of croutons, which are draining off. I've then got my capers like that. We can then dry out this pan, get rid of the oil. Just turn that down a little bit because I'm then going to prepare my little segments over here. So I'm going to take these, and in between each little bit of white marker or pith that we've got in there, you then just cut through to get your nice little lemon segments. Sharp knife is what you want, and you just work your way down. Take your time when you're doing this. Now, classically, in a beurre noisette, you wouldn't do this. You would just put the lemon juice in it. But this way of doing it, I think, with the segments as well. So we've got the juice that we can use from the lemon, which is great. I've got the little segments over here that I'm just going to cut into pieces, like that, as we're doing it. All the while, your fish is just happy in there. You don't need to turn it over. If you feel the need, you can open the oven door and have a little peek. But it's fine. There. Just leave it. So the only real other thing that we need for this is a little bit of parsley. So you just take a touch of flat leaf parsley. I remember doing this as a young kid even when I was a young kid, I used to cook this quite a lot, particularly in France when I was training. I used to do this, and they had curly parsley. And used to pick it, and then just chop it up. Really, really classic, but you want a nice little bit of parsley. For this, take your time when you're doing this, because the end bit is actually really, really quick. That's the key to this, is getting it all prepared, because it all happens almost at the last minute, really. It is one of those butter sauces you can actually make, but it's better if you do it right at the last minute. I try and teach the young chefs in the kitchen as well, try not to prepare it too far in advance, because it's not the same. It just wants to be straight in a pan, right at the last minute, poured straight on the fish and served, straight away. It's not one of those dishes that wants to allow just to sit there and wait for the fish to be cooked. You almost want the fish cooked and then you make the sauce. So now, the key to this really is speed and timing, all right? It's not rocket science. It uses a fair bit of butter, so don't worry about this. But it does use a fair bit. It's not brown butter sauce, all right? So it's butter and it's got lemon in it, so it's got a fruit in it, so you're fine, all right? That's how I classify it anyway. But you want a nice hot pan. Now, the key to making a butter sauce is an even heat all the way through it. So you add the butter, like this. And then you keep it on the heat, and now you need to wait to the right moment. You can see this is starting to go nut brown. So keep the pan nice and hot, and you'll see what will happen is it'll bubble and then it'll settle. When it settles, that's not far off. So we can then get a little bit of lemon ready. You can see it's now starting to settle a bit, like that. As it starts to colour, if I shake that, you can see it start to go nut brown. The temptation is to add it low. You wait. Keep going, keep going, keep going. It's now disappeared almost totally. Take that off the heat. Now add the lemon. Little squeeze of that lemon that I had. Squeeze that over the top. That stops the cooking now. That's that bit done. Then I can take that off the heat. Let that sit there. I can then take my fish out. Like that. We can then pop that onto I put it onto a little bit of paper to stop any of the oil from going on my plate. But then we lift this off, pop it on there, like that. And then it's all about what's happening in this pan now. So you've got this nut brown butter. Keep it off the heat. Now, a lot of people will pass this off through a sieve. A lot of chefs. I actually leave this as it is. We can then put a few little caper berries in. You don't put this in now, otherwise if you put it in too early, what's going to happen is these are just going to fry. So then we can add this garnish afterwards, but we add a little bit of parsley to this over the top. And then I can take a little spoonful, just a little bit for now. You can see that beautiful nut brown butter that you get. Hands off, and then I can build up the little garnish. So we take our breadcrumbs for a lovely bit of texture. We can take our lemon, pieces of lemon, not too much. We've got a lovely deep fried crispy capers, which are on here, and then we can take the rest of our nut brown butter sauce with our caper berries and everything else, and then this goes over the top. And there you have it, a classic, classic way of cooking beautiful Ray. If you see it in the supermarket, buy it. It's amazing. If you see it at a restaurant menu, try it, because it tastes delicious. But it is one of my favourite dishes that I do in the restaurant. Easy as that. Now, if there's anything you'd like to learn about Little Mascot, then do get in touch with me, see if we can help out right here on the show. Time now for a quick break. Join me again in a couple of minutes when Mr. Daniel Clifford will be working his magic in this very kitchen. He'd appreciate a dish like that. I'll see you in a minute. Welcome back. Now we're serving up wild mushroom tortellini very shortly, but first I'm here with Kaye Adams and Asma Khan, and we're about to enjoy a recipe from a chef who's been serving up some of the best food you'll find anywhere, and I mean anywhere in the UK, in his Cambridge restaurant for over 25 years. It's the brilliant Daniel Clifford.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Right, I built you up on a pedestal. Yeah. Don't fall off it.
No.
What are you going to be doing?
So today we're doing poached loin of cod that's been poached in butter. It's served with a velouté made out of a parsley root. It's served with a brondade of cod and a parsley puree and lovely caviar.
And you guys get to experience this without having travel into Cambridge. So what are we going to be doing?
So
how do we start with?
So in the pan here, I've got a chicken stock, half fish stock.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a little bit of oil.
Right.
Sweat my onions down. So I've got one chopped onion.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Because I don't have oil at my hand.
So what you can do, James...
Right, what am I doing?
If you take that for me, and then just roll it out, so I've got a flat piece on here.
I will do that, yeah, no problem. So this is the puree, is it, or the sauce?
No, this is going to be the... so what we have here is this is a parsley root. So a parsley root is the root of the parsley. So that grows underground. Obviously, that's the parsley there, and that's the parsley stalks. So the parsley comes out of here. This is something that we don't normally use, but for the October, November and December, it's perfectly in season. It's difficult to find, but it has that beautiful flavour, and I think with the cod it goes really, really well.
Not to be mistaken with sort of parsnip.
No, parsnip is a completely different
Of course, I thought it was parsnip.
No, but
So did I.
it tastes a little bit like celeriac-y sort of thing, would you say?
Yes, it's a very...
Can I give the ladies 2 pieces of that, just to taste?
Yep, so it's a very subtle flavour, but I think for this dish, it's absolutely beautiful. So that all goes in there.
Do you want this double thickness or one
No,
thickness?
just one thickness. No, just leave it so we can roll it. And then what you need to do, James, is take the parsley and...
Well, you're having a laugh, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
God.
So we just need to... So do it about that big, if possible.
Lovely, thank you very much. I'll see you in about half an hour.
So I'm sweating all the vegetables off in the butter, getting them a little bit soft. There's some tweezers there if you want them, Chef.
Tell you where to put them. Right, there you go.
So now for the velouté, what I do is I add the chicken stock, and I've kept that hot so we get the velouté to boil quicker. So now that needs to cook for about 7 minutes.
Right, so this is for the cod bit that we're doing,
For the cod. So basically what I've done is I've got a loin of cod here that I've cured in sugar and salt, and I've cured that for about 10 minutes, then washed it off, dried it off really, really nicely, and then we're going to roll that in the parsley.
How much, do you want any more?
That's absolutely perfect. So what we do now is take the cod.
That was stressing me out, that.
Yeah.
So now what I do is take the cling film, roll that over, bring that back on itself, back over, and then what we do is, if you hold that bit there,
Yeah.
I pull that tight.
Where do you get your ideas from? Because
That's just what I was going to say.
I'll be honest with you, this
journalism, you see.
this is just a classic, isn't it? Parsley, garlic.
It is, but your ideas. We saw you did that Snapmaster thing, which was. How on earth do you get that? You were against, was it Claude Boursier?
Yeah,
you tried
Claude,
to do a.
We had to make a Kit Kat.
Yeah.
No, Shreddy's the one.
Shreddy's, that was it,
Shreddy's the one
Shreddy's.
with Claude.
That was it.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, well, someone else has invented that. I just had to remake it. And then...
Claude couldn't be bothered at the end of it. He just.
Well, no, he chickened out, didn't he?
So
he took a paycheck.
this is what happens when you just basically cut
So
it.
as you see, what I've done now is I've already put some in, but what happens is the cod is set now because of the salt, and you've taken the salt out after washing it. But what happens is it stiffens itself up, and then what we do is we cut a lovely little portion like that, and then that goes into the butter, beurre noisette, so it's hazelnut butter.
Yeah.
And then that poaches for about 15 minutes at 52, 53 degrees.
Yeah.
And that's the perfect cooking temperature.
But everything about yours is exact. The temperatures, the timings, you mentioned 7 minutes on that, 52 degrees on that.
Yeah, because I think the end of the day I think cooking is a process, and I think I've spent hours working out exactly how to cook that perfectly, in my view.
Yeah.
And that's how we do it. So now I'm going to blend that.
Okay.
So that all goes in there.
Do you want me to do
cut
this?
everything.
Do you want me to do this bit?
Yeah, you can do that bit.
I thought you might want to do
Thank
this
you very
bit.
much.
Yeah, exactly.
So the reason I've cut it all really fine is so it cooks really, really quickly, and then you intensify the flavour. What I'm going to do now is take the cod out.
Pretty good to me.
All right, then we just need to pass that through there.
Pass that
And we
through.
need to season that with lemon juice and
How
salt.
good is that? You just look at that, how that velvety looks already. You've done this before, haven't you, Chief?
Well,
A few
the
times.
thing is it's a set recipe, and it's a recipe that works for every vegetable.
Are you good at maths, Daniel?
I am quite good at maths, yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like you've got that kind of brain.
I think, to be honest with you, I'm a creature of habit, and the recipes, like that base soup, if you change the vegetable and you understand what potato or what thickens the soup, then you can understand which process you need to do. So I
Yeah.
think for me, it's just working backwards. But James, if you could take that.
Yeah.
I know I'm keeping you busy.
Right.
Right, and then what I need you to do is put a beautiful cap
Of caviar.
of caviar
Got
on
it.
top of that.
Got it.
Beautiful cap, Jim.
Yes, yeah. No pressure there, then.
So that's the velouté done. Now we're going to start dressing. So what
I feel like I'm under pressure in his kitchen now.
Well, now you know how we all feel, James.
Exactly. But we had one of the questions earlier that we had on the show was, what is the definition of Michelin star? What does it mean? What is it all about? What's the difference between the two? I think if you don't notice that from what we've just been doing now, that's the work that's involved in it. It's just a tremendous amount of work, and You never stop with you guys, though, do you?
No,
You're constantly...
I have a separate kitchen now just for development, which I would say I spend 3 days a week in. And last week I was setting resin hands because we're going to serve canapes on them. And
setting resin hands?
Resin hands, yeah. You remember the toy with a pin toy?
Yeah.
Well, I went home one night and I just had this idea of a pin toy that I could set my own hand in resin and then I put the pin on top of it.
Yeah.
And my hand would be coming up and we can serve the canapes on top. I know.
Had you been drinking, Daniel?
No, I hadn't. But the thing is because you've got children, your children bring different things to the party all the time. So what we got now is we got some... this is pickled garlic. This is based on a French classic, basically. So, like, brandade is a classical French dish.
Yeah.
And all the garnishes are basically built around that. And then this is what I call a curly chive. So it's a chive that you take the chive and then you get a knife and you go up the chive. I'll show you quickly. So you just take the knife like this, you take the chive, you cut the chive there, and then you take half the chive, and then you just take the knife. There you go. You can see I'm shaking. That's you, James, that does that.
Yeah, let's blame James for everything.
Yeah. And then
That is a curly chive.
And then that goes into water, and then that curls into a chive.
I'd be terrified to eat.
Can you actually get a shot of that curly chive? Can you actually see that on there? There, look at that little curly chive. Look at that. Do you see that?
And then that chive goes there.
I'd be terrified to eat this.
Well, you're about to eat it.
Yeah, I know, but it's so much work.
And then...
But you also work so fast.
Well...
Yeah. He wants to get it finished. That's what he was saying.
I know. I guess.
Right, what is that? What is that?
That's parsley sauce.
Right.
So that goes there.
That's just parsley, blended
So
parsley.
parsley, chicken stock, garlic and cream.
Right.
That's just to bring in that French element. Then we take the cod. The cod sits there like that.
This is so clever.
Oh, my God.
So clever. Right, can I get...
And then we take the parsley root sauce.
out the way. You don't want this anymore?
No, thanks. That goes into a jug. Yeah, I saw that, but I'll let it go.
Nobody saw that, did they?
Yeah, so then...
What about these?
No, that was going in the stock, but it didn't make it.
All right, OK.
And
So
then-
I'll let you just leave it there.
Leave it there.
And I'll let you pour a little bit of the sauce on it, just so the cameras can get quite...
So basically,
let you do one of
that
them.
just goes on there like that. And there it is.
So
Cod.
give us the name of this dish.
So it's butter poached cod, caviar, parsley root velouté, parsley puree, and a brandade of cod.
I told you it was good. Right, you get to dive into this. Oh, there you go. Little sauce. Do you want to put a little sauce on, Chef?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
There you
You
go.
get to dive into this
No, I
one
think
as
you-
well.
let's not
Are you
shake it.
sure?
Yes.
There you go.
And then you dive into that one, Asma. There you go. Right, dive in. You've got to taste this. Taste the whole...
I just want to look at it for a little while.
So this is what, as a chef, this is why I went into this job,
Yeah, yeah.
and you went into this
Yeah, yeah.
job, because create things, we put things down and say nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then watch.
Yeah.
Because
Do you
I
know-
just think it's great.
What's beautiful is you can make something from this that's so humble,
Yeah.
and you can make it taste amazing. That's why I want
With the chunky caviar on it.
That's for PR.
I know, but as a non-foodie, I might look at that and think, oh, it's fancy
It's
food. But
fabulous.
actually,
Thank you very
it's
much.
just
It's
so beautiful.
We talked about Michelin stars earlier. This is why this gentleman respect is due. Mr. Daniel Clifford, everybody. Now we've got time for one more final recipe this morning, so join us again in a couple of minutes. We're serving up a wild mushroom tortellini with the help of my guest, and he's cooking with me.
Am I?
I'm going to reverse it. Yes, we're going to reverse it. See you after the break. Welcome back, sadly, to the final part of the show. But I'm back in the kitchen with all my guests, Daniel, Asma, and of course, Kaye. Right, so we're going to do a little bit of tortellini because we're going to do pasta. If that's all right.
Can't believe you're making fresh pasta.
Homemade pasta as well, really. So homemade pasta is really, really simple. I use half semolina, half 00 flour, some egg yolks like that, and it makes this pasta. And then we can just roll it all out. The key to pasta is not too dry, not too wet. It's too wet, it's a nightmare to put through the roller. Too dry, it's also a nightmare to put through the roller. So Daniel's going to then basically just blend up our cooked mushrooms, which I've done, with a little bit of our amazing little ricotta. And we're just going to blend that with a touch of lemon juice, a little bit of cream if you want it, some herbs into a nice little filling for our tortellini. So the tortellini, you just start off this nice and thick, and then gradually it gets lower and lower and lower. And if the pasta's right, you shouldn't need to add really any flour.
You make it sound very simple. I tried once in my life to make fresh pasta.
Right.
And I still have nightmares about it. It was like shoe leather.
Shoe leather, it's too thick.
Oh, terrible.
Too thick, probably more than anything else. But look, you see how what little bit of pasta you end up with just a piece like this. So that's that one. We're just going to roll it all out as well over here. So we mentioned earlier the podcast. We never really got a chance to talk about it that much, really. But is that a thing that you do, Asma? You're into podcasting and stuff like that?
I want to do one. I've been on other people's podcasts, but
Right.
I really want to do it because I think that it is a great way, especially when you're accented and you have a different story. People listen to accents more, and I just really want women who cook at home to know that this is a career, not a hobby.
Yeah. Well, you've got a lady who does it for a living now as well. So tell us about the podcast then, because you set it all up with a milestone in your life.
Well, yeah, approaching 60, which was something I was struggling with because I didn't particularly like the aging process. But I think a podcast has to be about something that actually means something to you, and you just hope that other people, will listen in and they will also have a connection. And so
Right.
for you, I can see why that would be a great subject for you to take on because you're so passionate about, getting women into cooking and business. And
So what did you base it? Do you base it on what to do from 60, what it's like?
Well, it's an interesting stage of life, isn't it? Because when we talk about middle-aged, well, that covers, I don't know, about 20 years. I guess you'll be middle-aged.
I'm 52 next.
Right, okay.
What about you?
50 this year.
50 this year. You've got a milestone, you see. 50.
No, I'm 50 already.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
50 already?
Yeah,
there you
I
go.
was, yeah.
So you're very much sort of in the hurly-burly of life. You've got it all going on, and you're usually really busy at work. You've often got caring responsibilities, other things going on. You get towards 60, and you do start to think, OK, without being morbid, time is not infinite. What do I want to do? What do I really want to focus on, and what is going to give me real
Not a
pleasure?
bucket list as such. Not a bucket
Not
list
a
as
bucket
such.
list. Not a bucket list. But really being a lot more disciplined about how you spend your time and not spending time doing things that you don't really want to do because you think it might get you somewhere. Because you're
True.
probably as far as you're going to get, aren't you? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, true, yeah, true.
So it's kind of like I've spent most of my life trying to climb the mountain, whatever it is, and now I think maybe it's time to enjoy the view.
It's really interesting. I mean, this thing about how you age. The society is unforgiving. Everyone worships on the altar of youth and being dynamic, and I think it's very difficult because a lot of women do feel this, that they're being left behind. And I think this is going to be so good for people to hear you speak about it because it's an unspoken fear. Women don't want to talk about it because they don't want people to think, oh, she's having a tough time. No one discusses this, at least,
Well,
among my friends.
you said the reason why you didn't do what you're doing now is you were worried about nobody else had done it and how you were going to do it. Nobody had done what you'd done. Nobody had owned a restaurant like you had, unless you were male.
The whole thing is that the older you get, you have life experience, but somehow no one values that.
No.
And I, as through my entire journey, I have failed more than anyone can even imagine. And that's important to be able to communicate that you do fail and things go wrong.
Well, we mentioned earlier in terms of the cooking side of it, you got to fail to succeed, haven't you? Really?
100%.
Or learn to fail,
Yeah.
learn to succeed from failure.
You only learn from your mistakes.
Well, that was so interesting for me to hear, Daniel, because I'm a terrible cook. But I will make something and I will say, oh, that's rubbish, that's it, I'm a terrible cook.
Yeah, but
instead of persevering and thinking, well, let me try it again the next time and see if I can
That's
do
the
it
thing
better.
is people don't. And
so many people buy cookery books, they cook the recipe out of it,
Yeah.
but they never go back to it. So they get a dinner party, they do the table of 6, they're really unhappy with what they've cooked, but they never revisit it and say, this is where I made my mistakes. And I think, to be honest with you, that's the base of learning is repeat, repeat, repeat.
But you were saying, even in your restaurants as well, you take a recipe that you think, well, I've tried this and it doesn't work. That goes into the locker cupboard, but it never goes in the bin.
Never.
It just goes in the locker cupboard, and then sometimes you just go, do you know what? I'm going to go back to that. I'm going to redo that. And I'm pretty sure that's going to work. So you go back to it.
Well, it's all ideas, isn't it? Ideas. That that's the nice thing is, look, we're all inventing every time we do it. It's the enjoyment of it. I like the learning.
Is that what you face as well in your restaurant? You still do that? Because, you're busy. For sure, you're busy. Do you get because he's got his development kitchen and all that kind of stuff. I suppose you're developing...
His development kitchen is probably the size of my entire restaurant.
But I suppose you're developing stuff, you can develop stuff at home and...
Yes, but I think that we still serve traditional things. So we're not trying to tweak things. The problem with Indian cuisine is that everyone has only been tweaking. And because everyone is presenting the food... I think that, when I came to this country, I thought people are convinced that we all bathe in ghee and cream.
Exactly.
Because, in Calcutta, everything would split if you added ghee and cream to everything.
Yeah.
And so we want to present... For us, this is actually a chance to take people by the hand and take them through our cuisine and in some ways communicate who we are as, women, older women, South Asians, immigrants, first generation, all of that.
I think that's what's so interesting. In the time we've had to speak, for you it's about the food, but it's about more than the food, isn't it?
I think you've got a guest for your podcast, I think.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
But
Maybe not old enough, I don't know.
No, I'm 54.
We'll have to wait a few years for you.
But your story is fascinating in terms of not just its food, but your upbringing and the fact that you gave it all up, you took that risk. And, I think life's all about risks. You say that, at 60 years old, you think, I don't want to take the risk, but a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I met a couple the other day. I remember, I was in France, I was working. I met a couple who gave up everything and set up their own business, and they were 62 years old.
But I think the good thing about getting older is that the risk isn't so great. When you're younger and you're trying to maybe get a bigger house or look after the kids and get a better job, then that idea of risk is very, very forward in your head.
Yeah.
Whereas when you get a bit older and you think, well, here we are, am I just not going to do these things I've always wanted to do? That's a worse risk, isn't it?
That's the worst, yes, I suppose so, yeah, exactly. Now, I mentioned the fact, of course, Loose Women. We mentioned the fact that it's been going on since, I can't believe it's 1999.
Since the last century.
I started on television in 92, 93, something like that. So, I'm kind of catching up the Loose Women as well, but it's just, it's phenomenally successful. And so much so that you've just recently finished a tour as well.
Yeah, we did.
Whole tour around the country.
Yeah, we did a live tour around the country, which was a great experience. It really was a great experience because, Loose Women, the reason I think that it succeeded for so long is that there is no magic to it apart from the fact that it is women sitting around and talking about a whole range of things. Not necessarily women's things, which I think previously had been perhaps the way that women were on television, but about all manner of things. But I don't know if you agree, Asma, women have a particular way of talking and communicating. And that never changes. That hasn't changed since the beginning of time. But for us to be able to go out on tour and actually see the people, who've grown up with us, who've had the same experience as us, who perhaps lost partners or, had kids, etc., it was really magical. It was wonderful.
It is. So keep going, chef. Keep going.
He's all right.
So yeah, exactly. Now you've got one eye on what you're doing over here. So you can explain how to make these little tortellini. So go on.
So basically, we've got a round of pasta. I've put the mix in the middle, tightly in there. Then basically, I fold it over, fold that bit up like that. So you get this is meant to be Venus's belly button originally. So you fold that bit up, fold it over like that, put that bit round the finger, twist it, push that together. Wow. And that's your tortellini.
It's like a fortune cookie.
Yeah.
But you just take a nice little bit of tortellini and we're just going to cook this ever so gently in here. Now, this is only going to, because this is fresh pasta, it's going to take no more than a minute.
Yeah.
Something like that. In salted boiling water. I've got my sauce over here, 2 sauces, one for you, one for each of you over there, with a nice little bit of seasoning. You can grab the bowls.
Yeah.
just a couple of bowls. There we have it. And I've made a little bit of chervil. Chervil's one of these amazing herbs. I mean, I love it. I don't know about you.
I love it.
I think it's absolutely beautiful.
Difficult to find now.
It's quite difficult to find. You're best off growing it. It's amazing. It's got this amazing sort of chervil note. It's just delicious. And I don't know why they can't grow it commercially.
So delicate, isn't it?
Yeah, but I just think it's absolutely beautiful. But look, we're just going to take our little tortellini. That's going to... And we finish off the cooking our tortellini in the sauce. I think that's the key to it. So you sort of finish it off in here. We've got a nice little bit of ricotta. I'm just going to get you to finish this off. So we'll take our... This one's for Kaye. There you go. A nice little... We'll put 3 in there. Nice little tortellini. Nice little bit of the wild mushrooms
Wow.
on there as well. There you go.
That's proper Italian.
And then
Cheese, chef?
a little bit of cheese, why not? A little bit of cheese. You've got a little bit of the oil as well. You can just drizzle on. There we go, chef. There we go.
So what kind of cheese is that, Daniel?
So this is a beautiful little bit of ricotta. Local ricotta we just get from up the road. Because nowadays you don't have to go to Italy for mozzarella. You don't have to go to Italy for ricotta. We've got mozzarella produced 5 miles away from here.
Oh, wow.
There's a buffalo mozzarella farm. He's got nearly 5,000 buffalo roaming around in the Hampshire countryside, and produces his own mozzarella, his own ricotta, own feta. But there we have it, a nice little bit of homemade tortellini with a little chervil oil to go on the top. Finished off by my brilliant commie chef over here.
Do you think you'll keep him on?
Maybe.
hoping so.
I'll take it.
Business
I'll
is
take
not
him
good at
on.
the moment.
Take him on for a trial for another week. We'll see. Daniel, Clifford, everybody. Thank you very much. Asma, that is yours. There you go.
Thank you.
That is yours.
Thank you.
Daniel Clifford, that is yours. Do you want me to grate a bit of cheese? Me and Dee get the pan, if that's all right.
Even the smell.
Well, you know, it's a thing about it is, when you make your pasta and you're used to it, it's practice. That's all it is. But try it. Try and have a go again, Kaye. Because just me. If you make it again,
I will.
Try it because it's worth it. I think it's.
I will.
Happy with that?
Oh, gorgeous.
Happy customers all round. There you go. I told you today was going to be a good one. Well, that's it. That's all we've got time for today. A massive thank you to all my guests. Anna Guzman, Richard Corrigan, Daniel Clifford, Asma Khan, and, of course, Kaye Adams. See you on Loose Moon very soon, no doubt, as well. Right, we'll see you back at the same time next Saturday morning. We'll be joined by chefs Jose Pizarro, James Tanner, Dipna Anand will be here, and I'll be cooking for the brilliant Beverly Knight. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Right.